Okay, so I wanted to start a series of videos for the PC32 language, some sort of tutorial complementing the ones on block 300. So today we're going to be talking about the basics. First of all, here's the editor. You can type like so. And the editor moves the cursor by the word, not by the character. So if I type another word and some other words, you can see by pressing the arrow keys, the left and right arrows, we will be moving by the word. In order to access the characters of the words, you have to press the up key in order to move the cursor, or the crown as I call it, and that will put the cursor at the end of the word, facilitating inserting text, so something like this. But if you want to access or delete a word or a character, you will have to press up to go to the end and then down until you get to the character you want. This is to facilitate fourth editing. I've been using it like this for about 5 or 6 years now, and it's pretty easy once you get used to. In order to get a new word, you have to press space at the end of a word, and you get this character here, which delimitates the 0. Whenever it finds a 0, it will put this character. It will prevent you from going forward and screwing up with the memory. So you can type in this character whatever you want, and if you delete, you will go back to the character. You delete once more and you're back to the previous word. If you want to split a word, you just have to do the same. You put the cursor at the end and then you move it back to where you want to split and press space. So now let's get into the coloring aspect of the editor. This is very important because color denotes function in this language. You press the F1 key and the F2 key to move the colors up and down. You can press F4 to toggle between a call and a comment, and you can press tab in order to tag it as a macro. Down below in the baseline, it will tell you which kind of color is. This is red is a definition, the next one is a call, the next one is a number, and you can see if you tag it as a number and you move the cursor, it will convert it to a number. This has nothing to do with the word that was before. It's just trying to parse whatever you type as a number. When you are in number mode, if you press the F8 key, it will tag it as a hex, and if you press F3, it will tag it as an immediate word that will be executed immediately when you press F5 to compile. Tagging words as immediate is another basic of the language. Anything has two behaviors and two colors for that matter. You have calls and you have immediate calls, you have numbers and you have immediate numbers, you have reference in magenta and you have immediate reference in pink, you have data, which is a semblance of strings, and you have immediate data. Whenever there is no color, because it's not too different and it's hard to tell a shade of a color, you will see a small yellow mark on the side. This will tell you, oh, it's an immediate word. And down in the status bar, it will also tell you it's an immediate data word. Here is an immediate reference. If I press F3, look at down in the status bar, you can see it changes to reference. Same with the call, immediate call, call. There are a few other tags we can use where there is no immediate mode functionality for them. So for example, if I have a red word, here red, and I press the immediate flag, it will turn it into a jump, because there is no such thing as an immediate red word. There is no such thing as immediately generate a tag. That's what the red word does already. So it will convert it into a jump into the word. There's also the assembler word. For example, let's say I type 1800 and I press right control, it will tag it as an assembler. The assembler is tagged immediately in hex, and this word will be compiled as it is into memory. It will not be processed. This is to do opcodes directly, but generally you shouldn't have all that much use of that word unless you want to store some direct memory. So for example, like you have a word like say word, and you want that word to behave as if it were a memory tag. So you have some memory like 10, 11, 12, 13, and if you access, you get the reference to this word and add some constant to it, you will get to these addresses here. But other than that, there is not much use for that word. The immediate mode version of that word, however, has a lot of uses. Is the macro. So let's say I have something like red, and it's defined as assembler. If I press F3 to toggle the immediate mode, it will become a macro word. All macro does is just inline the definition until you find a semicolon. You can also toggle the macro state by pressing tab. It will convert it from a macro to a call and back. Okay, now let's talk about faster movement inside blocks. Let's say you have a huge block, something like, let me go to block number 2, and you want to move quickly. You don't want to keep pressing the button, the left or right arrows. You press shift and left right, and it will move from red word to red word. This is just to facilitate movement. Another movement is movement between blocks. You press the advanced page and the previous page to move one block up, one block down. Let's say I am in block 92. The next block will be 94 because the blocks in between, the odd blocks, are the documentation. So you can press the key that is left to right control. I don't know the name of the key, and it will put you in the shadow block, which just subtracts 1 from the block, and you are now in the documentation space. This is useful because here you can just put another red word of your definition up here. So for example, if I have the tpos word here, I could just type it again and say some documentation, and if I go back and look up the source again, it will bring me to that word. So for looking up source, you will use the begin and the end key. You press the begin key to go to the source, you press the end key to go back, but you can also look up blocks using this. So instead of a word, if you press it in a number, it will take you to that block. So I pressed here in the block 90, and if you can see down below, it put me in block 90. If I type, let's say 100 and tag it as a number and look up the source, it will put me where we were in block 100. If I press the end key, it will take me back. Okay, now we're back at block 100, and to wrap up the editor part of the tutorial, let me show you how to do the blue words. You can see the blue words by pressing F9, and this will allow you to edit them, but you can also do them directly by doing a comment. So for example, let's say CR. This if you turn it into a comment and then toggle the immediate flag, it will turn it into a blue word, and when you move the cursor, it will be hidden unless you press the F9 key. Aside from that, there's also copy and pasting, which you can use. You can do using the insert and the delete key. By pressing the delete key, you will cut, and by pressing insert, you will paste. This cut and paste buffer is stored in memory, and whenever you press F5 to compile the block, it will be saved, so you don't have to worry about losing some data if you crash or something. Other than that, pressing F5 will compile this block. If you have an error, for example, if the word is not defined, it will give you this red word here saying red, and it will take you to the offending word so you can fix it. So let's say if I make a word like ASDF or something and make it a call, this word is not defined anywhere. If I press F5, well, it first take me to the red word and then to the next word. If you press escape, it will put you in the word that the compiler couldn't find. Oh, and I almost completely forgot about cleaning the clipboard. If you press the print screen key, that's the one that's up from the cut and paste keys, the clipboard will go away. Finally, we have the command line mode, which is accessed by pressing escape. Here you type things and they will get parsed and put into the stack on the left. All the words of the editor are available at any time to be called here. So I define the basic words like dupe, swap, add, and such. I can call them here. I type a 1 and press space. I call the word dupe, and it will duplicate the top of the stack. I call the word plus space, and we'll add them together. I call drop, and it will go away. If I type a word and that word doesn't exist, like something like this, it will try to parse it as a number so it doesn't error out. If I press F5 while I'm in command line mode, it will save and reset the machine. It will recompile everything and go back to the start. So if I have a number and press F5, the number will go away and I'm back to editor mode. I press escape, and back to editor mode once again. I think this is it for the editor part of the tutorial. If you have something you want to look at or have explained in video form, just leave me a comment and I'll probably make a video. So other than that, I think in the next video we'll have some actual programming. As always, subscribe if you want, leave a comment, and check out my Patreon. See you in the next video.